Welcome back to the program. So we're going to cover two quick segments tonight. The first one I think is very important because it really has the basis of why the Iran situation is what it is. As I've explained in the past, you have what's known as mass mutual destruction, right? This basically means that the Iranians are willing to die in order to kill us. And that is why for 47 years, they have screamed, death to America, death to Israel, as many times as possible to as many people as they can get to hear it. Now, why are we not doing the same? Well, number one, we're not radical theologists and clerics and mullahs. But number two, we are not technically at war with Islam and these people. But they're at war with us. And finally, we have a president that has recognized that. And now he understands, as he said, that these are, quote, crazies, right? I think at one point a couple of weeks ago, he said, "You crazy bastards, open up the strait." So he understands that these people are not rational. Now, just today, we find out that the Straits of Hormuz is reclosed. They closed it again. They are now trying to move the goalposts. They, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, are now saying that the strait will be closed until you lift the blockade. Doesn't work that way, okay? It doesn't work that way. President Trump's not going to play that game. Now, on the surface, he's still talking about a deal. We're making a deal. But meanwhile, in private, he walked out of the war room basically with Marco and Pete Hegseth and the rest of them. Okay, he just walked right out. He was like, I'm disgusted. So that's the truth. So what does this really mean? Well, I don't know, but I only could hope and pray that this coming Wednesday, which would be April 23rd, the day the ceasefire is completely over, and that we don't do anything in the meantime, then hopefully the bombs will start flying once again. Now, why do I say that? Why am I so bloodthirsty? Well, I think it's very simple. Because these people want us dead, and finally we have a president, at least so far, that understands that threat. Now, what I want to do is I want to expand and expound on this mass mutual destruction. Again, we have to have the ability and desire to live more than they have a desire to die. And as long as we do, which I believe we do, then we're going to let them die and we are going to live. But what this all really stems to is what's known as Mahdism, okay? And Mahdism is an extremely radical sect of the Shia Muslim faith. So what I want to do is I want to kind of go through some of that with you so that you get a better understanding. This is from an excellent foreign policy analyst, Anthony Graffetto, I think his name is. He's phenomenal. He's really, really good. And he put this thing together, and it's called Mahdism, the religious cult of Iran's rulers. And here is what he says. Western policymakers and political pundits mistakenly interpret Iran's relationship with the rest of the globe, particularly the United States of America and, of course, Israel, as well as with the broader Islamic world. This is why when they were being attacked by the United States and Israel, they didn't care, and they hit Qatar, and they hit Bahrain, and they hit Saudi Arabia, and they hit United Arab Emirates. They don't care because they are different than the rest of the Muslim world. So then it says, let's look at this through the lens of the Shia-Sunni divide. That is the mistake that every single president, possibly even President Trump, hopefully not, has made in dealing with the threat from the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, the mullahs, and the clerics. This is not just about Sunni versus Shia. That is a Western ideology thought process, okay? The reality is Iran's theocracy is far more complex and much more sinister than that. The Islamic Republic's ruling theology is not mainstream Shia Islam. The Shia Islam, followed by roughly 85% of Shia Muslims worldwide, and recognized as Iran's official state religion. And this has been transformed into a controversial fusion of apocalypticism, that's a tough word to say, political mysticism, and quasi-divine claims of authority that Orthodox Shia scholars have explicitly rejected. The centerpiece of this transformation is the regime's radicalized interpretation of what's known as Mahdism, a concept that exists within mainstream Shia theology, but has been radicalized and repurposed by the Iranian regime's ruling clerics into something the traditional Shia scholars worldwide do not recognize. Mahdism holds that the 12th divinely ordained Shia Imam, Muhammad al-Mahdi, was withdrawn into a miraculous state of concealment by God in 874 CE to protect him from the Sunni Abbasid Caliphate, which had killed his father. Shia Muslims believe that he will one day return to defeat evil in its final apocalyptic battle. In 1979, Ruhollah Khomeini, the one that started the revolution, led that revolution that overthrew Iran's United States-backed Shah, took 52 American hostages for 444 days, and established the Islamic Republic, which, of course, has remained in direct confrontation with the United States and Israel ever since. Khomeini also broke sharply with traditional Shia doctrine. During his years in exile, he developed the theory of Vilayet Faqih, arguing that rather than waiting passively for the return of this magical 12th Imam, Shia Muslims were obligated to prepare the conditions immediately for his arrival. This required political action, the creation of Islamic State, and the elevation of a supreme clerical authority to act as the Imam's deputy on earth. This is how batshit crazy these people are. Iran's 1979 constitution codifies this framework, presenting the revolution as the first stage in a process leading to the Mahdi's return. The unorthodoxy extended to the credentials of the most recent supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, who was killed by U.S. joint Israeli bombing on February 28, 2026. Khamenei, nonetheless, developed the Mahdist doctrine further after assuming his leadership in 1989, outlining 5 revolutionary stages required by the Mahdi's return and before his return: an Islamic revolution, an Islamic regime, an Islamic government, an Islamic society, and an Islamic civilization. By his own assessment, Iran had completed only the first 2. This means the regime believes it is executing a divinely mandated sequence of steps whose end point is a cosmic, cataclysmic type event: the return of the hidden Imam and the apocalyptic defeat of what they consider evil, the United States and Israel. The IRG's hostility towards the United States and its drive to destroy Israel and the United States are understood internally as religious obligations, prerequisites, if you will, for triggering the Mahdi's return. Taking this all together, this quasi-religious political ideology and belief system suggests that the remaining IRGC are not going to easily stand down or surrender. regardless of how much damage is inflicted upon them or how many lives are lost, because it's all about one thing: the pursuit of triggering this 12th Imam, Mahdi's return. This is why they must die. You know me, I'm blunt. I don't care. They have to die. Because if they don't die, they're going to continue this 12th Imam craziness, and they're going to continue to work for a nuclear bomb. They're going to continue to try to rebuild. You ever seen the movie, and I'm dating myself, obviously, The Night of the Living Dead? Now, granted, that was the one in the 60s. Even I'm too young for that, okay? Let's face it. But the one in the 80s, I think it was 1987, scared the shit out of me. Absolutely scared me. It was called Return of the Living Dead. And basically, it's exactly what you would think. It was these zombies walking around, coming at you, trying to eat your brains, and they were chasing people down, and they were killing people, and they had to be killed in order to stop them. Look at the rest of the IRG as the Night of the Living Dead. They have to be killed. They are not allowed to survive, because if they survive, then they're going to continue this absolute asinine, batshit crazy, insane ideology. This is such insane ideology that, according to religious scholars, 85% or more of regular, quote, Shia Muslims reject the Mahdism. So you have one country in the Middle East, that 15% believes in this 12th Imam coming back, and therefore they want to die for this Imam. They're preparing the apocalyptic death, and they want to kill the infidels, and they want to kill the United States of America and Israel, and they want to do that with a nuclear weapon. Now, does it make sense? It should. I know for many of you it already has, but there's a lot of stupid people out there that it doesn't yet. Well, perhaps, maybe, just maybe, me explaining and breaking this down from this absolutely brilliant article by Antonio Grafesso, maybe that will help. Because the bottom line here, we have to finish this job. We cannot have a, quote, deal. We cannot have a 20-year moratorium. We cannot do any of those things. These people must die. Period. End of story. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.